Have you ever extended a hand to someone in need, only to feel the sting of indifference, or worse, outright disrespect? Imagine holding a door open for someone who walks through without even acknowledging your presence, or think of a moment when you went out of your way to support a colleague, only for them to repay your effort with a dismissive relium. It's enough to make anyone wonder, is my kindness a flaw? Am I too soft for this world? But before you start doubting yourself, pause and reflect. The issue isn't your kindness, it's the misguided way it's sometimes given. Stoic philosophy teaches us that kindness, when rooted in wisdom and guided by boundaries, is an unshakable expression of inner strength. However, when offered blindly, without consideration of context or intention, it risks being misunderstood, exploited, or even devalued. This video isn't about abandoning kindness, it's about elevating it. Together, we'll uncover how Stoicism offers a blueprint for practicing kindness that commands respect, both from others and from yourself. We'll explore how to align your generosity with your values, set boundaries that protect your dignity, and turn kindness into a force that strengthens you rather than leaves you feeling drained. So, stay with me. Every moment we spend together could transform the way you see kindness and the way the world sees you. Let's turn kindness into the powerful virtue it's meant to be. Number 1. Why your kindness works against you. Picture this. Joe, a kind-hearted neighbor, is always ready to lend a hand. When his friend forgets their keys, he skips dinner to drive across town and deliver a spare. When another neighbor's gate breaks, he puts aside his own projects to fix it. At first, Joe's generosity is met with sincere gratitude, but over time, something shifts. His kindness is no longer appreciated. It's expected. One day, overwhelmed with his own responsibilities, Joe declines a request. The response? Criticism and disappointment. Joe begins to feel used and undervalued, wondering, does my kindness even matter? We've all been in Joe's shoes. The problem isn't kindness itself. It's kindness given without boundaries. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while kindness is a virtue, it must be guided by wisdom and intention. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your kindness stems from a desire to please others or a fear of rejection, your soul becomes tainted by dependency and insecurity. True kindness, however, is born of strength and self-respect. Consider another example. Sophia, a dedicated employee at a large company. She often works late, taking on extra responsibilities without complaint. Initially, her efforts earn her praise and admiration, but as time passes, her dedication is taken for granted. When she finally declines working overtime to prioritize her health, her boss responds with disappointment, and her colleagues view her choice as inconvenient. This moment opens Sophia's eyes. Kindness without boundaries doesn't inspire respect. It fosters entitlement. Stoicism offers a crucial insight here. Kindness isn't about sacrificing yourself at all costs. It's about maintaining balance and acting with intention. Boundaries don't weaken kindness. They protect it. Without them, generosity can spiral into resentment for the giver and entitlement for the receiver. So, what's the solution? It's simple yet profound. Give with an open heart, but set limits. Your kindness is not an endless resource to be exploited. It's a precious asset that reflects your values and inner strength. When guided by self-awareness and confidence, your kindness becomes unshakable, a gift you offer without losing yourself in the process. Kindness, when purposeful and intentional, elevates the value of your actions. It's not about seeking approval or avoiding conflict. It's about affirming who you are. By setting boundaries, you safeguard your dignity and ensure that your kindness is respected, not expected. As Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver." When your intention is rooted in strength, wisdom, and self-respect, your kindness becomes an unassailable force that commands respect and inspires others to do the same. Number 2. The fine line between kindness and pleasing. Everyone picture Liam, a devoted father who pours his energy into his family. He works long hours to provide, spends evenings fixing things around the house, and uses weekends chauffeuring his kids to their activities. At first, his family admired his dedication, expressing gratitude for his tireless efforts. But as time passed, something changed. Liam's constant willingness to help became an unspoken expectation. One day, utterly exhausted, Liam finally said no to a request. The response? Complaints like, "You always help, why not now?" In that moment, Liam realized his unconditional devotion hadn't earned him the respect he thought it would. Instead, it had fostered entitlement. This story is all too familiar for many of us. Kindness, when given without boundaries, is often misunderstood, taken for granted, or worse, exploited. Stoic philosophy offers clarity here. True kindness is not about limitless sacrifice, but intentional action guided by wisdom and balance. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When your kindness is driven by a fear of disappointing others, your soul takes on the hue of dependency. But when your generosity is rooted in self-awareness and core values, it becomes a source of strength. Now, consider Lisa, a dedicated nurse who goes above and beyond for her patients. She willingly steps in to help co-workers in need, earning admiration for her selflessness. Over time, however, her generosity becomes an expectation. When Lisa finally decides to take a break to focus on her health, she's met with criticism for not being as available as before. This is when Lisa comes to a painful realization. Kindness without boundaries doesn't earn respect. It invites endless demands. Stoic philosophy teaches us that kindness fortified by mindfulness and purpose is far more impactful than blind sacrifice. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's a profound act of respect, both for yourself and others. By saying no when necessary, you ensure your kindness remains a genuine act of goodwill rather than an obligation others exploit. The next time you feel compelled to say yes to every request, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? Am I acting out of genuine sincerity or fear of rejection? These questions help you assess your motivations and guide your actions with purpose. Remember, boundaries aren't walls. They're frameworks for building healthy, respectful relationships. When you practice intentional kindness, fortified by boundaries, you not only enrich your own life, but also transform your generosity into a strength that commands respect rather than diminishes it. Number 3, being firm without losing your true self. Imagine Henry, a father admired by friends and co-workers for his boundless kindness and enthusiasm. If someone needs help moving, Henry is the first to show up with his truck. If a colleague is overwhelmed, he gladly takes on extra tasks. At first, people deeply appreciate his generosity, but as time passes, his willingness becomes an expectation. One day, Henry, utterly exhausted, decides to say no to a request. Instead of understanding, he's met with disappointment and even criticism. In that moment, Henry realizes a hard truth. His kindness, while pure in intention, has been misunderstood as an obligation rather than a choice. Henry's story isn't unique. Many of us have experienced the frustration of having our kindness exploited or undervalued. This often happens when kindness isn't paired with the courage to assert our own needs. Stoic philosophy, with its emphasis on reason and self-awareness, teaches us that true kindness isn't about endlessly giving. It's about intentional giving, guided by balance and rooted in our values. Kindness must never stem from a fear of rejection or a compulsive need to please others. Instead, it should reflect inner strength and self-respect. Consider Emily, a mother who has always prioritized her family's needs above her own. She sacrifices her time, her hobbies, and even her well-being to ensure everyone else is taken care of. Initially, her family is grateful, but over time, her sacrifices turn into an unspoken expectation. One day, Emily decides to dedicate just one evening a week to herself, to read, practice yoga, or simply unwind. Her family resists at first, confused by this sudden shift in availability, but Emily holds firm, knowing that without these boundaries, she risks burnout and diminishing the value of her contributions. Through this decision, she discovers a profound truth. Loving herself is just as important as loving others. Stoicism reminds us that boundaries aren't walls meant to shut people out. They are tools to protect our mental health, sustain our relationships, and ensure that our kindness is genuine and sustainable. When we set limits, we teach others to respect and appreciate what we offer. Now, imagine another scenario. You have a friend who frequently borrows money but never repays it. At first, you lend because you genuinely believe they need help. But as the requests become routine, you start feeling taken advantage of. Without boundaries, this cycle will continue. Setting a firm but respectful limit doesn't just safeguard your finances. It also challenges your friend to confront their behavior. While it may feel uncomfortable in the moment, this action creates a healthier, more balanced dynamic. Kindness should never come at the cost of self-abandonment. When guided by confidence and clarity, kindness transforms into a powerful expression of inner strength. A thoughtfully communicated no often earns more respect than a reluctant yes. By learning to set boundaries gracefully, you not only protect your mental and emotional well-being, but also inspire others to do the same. True kindness, as Stoicism teaches, is never about submission. It's about living with integrity. When you offer kindness intentionally, in alignment with your values, you enrich your own life while radiating its worth to those around you. But for kindness to thrive, it must be protected by boundaries that reflect your self-respect. So, reflect for a moment. When was the last time you said yes to something you didn't want to do? How did it make you feel? And what would have happened if instead you'd found the courage to say no without guilt? It's in these everyday moments, the small decisions we make about where to invest our time and energy, that we rediscover the delicate balance between kindness and self-respect. When you learn to stand firm without losing your compassion, you embody a kindness that is stronger, purer, and more deeply rooted in the principles of a meaningful life. Number 4. Striking the right balance between kindness and self-worth. A few years ago, I helped a close friend fix her car. She was going through a tough financial time and couldn't afford a mechanic, so I spent my entire Saturday diagnosing the issue, sourcing the parts, and making the repairs. At first, her gratitude was heartfelt, She even brought me coffee and pastries as a small token of thanks. But just a few weeks later, when her car had another problem, she called me again. This time, though she didn't ask for help, she expected it. It wasn't that I didn't want to assist, but the shift in her tone made me realize something important. My effort, once appreciated, had now been taken for granted. That moment taught me a hard lesson. Kindness without boundaries not only drains your energy, but also diminishes its value in the eyes of others. Stoic philosophy teaches us that kindness must be paired with wisdom and boundaries. Without them, kindness becomes misunderstood, undervalued, or even exploited. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. To truly live good, in a Stoic sense, your kindness must be intentional, guided by your principles, and balanced with self-respect. Take William, a former colleague of mine. He was known for always stepping up when others needed help. Whenever a task was delegated, William was the first to raise his hand, and at first, everyone admired his dedication. But over time, the requests piled up. William became overwhelmed and resentful, but he didn't feel comfortable saying no until his breaking point. One day, William decided to establish clear boundaries. He began declining tasks that weren't part of his responsibilities and started prioritizing his own work. Surprisingly, instead of straining his relationships, his newfound clarity earned him more respect. People began to see him not as a pushover, but as someone who balanced generosity with purpose. Another example comes from a busy mother I once knew. She gave up everything, hobbies, personal time, even basic self-care, to meet the endless needs of her children and spouse. Initially, her family appreciated her sacrifices, but over time, they stopped noticing altogether. Her efforts became an unspoken expectation. Recognizing this, she made the bold decision to reclaim one evening a week for herself to attend yoga classes. At first, her family resisted. They were used to her constant availability. But over time, they saw how this simple act of self-care gave her renewed energy and taught them the importance of balance. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that true kindness isn't about saying yes to everyone at the expense of yourself. It's about offering your kindness with intentionality and wisdom. A gesture of kindness carries more weight when it comes from a place of willingness and sincerity, rather than obligation or fear of disapproval. So, the next time someone asks for your help, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I doing this out of genuine desire or because I feel I have to? Does this align with my values and priorities? These simple questions can help you make decisions that honor both your self-worth and your kindness. Remember, kindness isn't self-sacrifice. It's a voluntary act that holds its value when you maintain balance and self-respect. Setting boundaries doesn't make you less kind. It ensures that your kindness remains pure and impactful. When practiced with wisdom and self-awareness, kindness doesn't just build meaningful relationships. It allows you to live a life of authenticity and fulfillment. As the Stoics remind us, kindness must never come at the expense of your own well-being. So, the next time you're faced with a decision to give, pause and ask yourself, is this how I want to express my kindness? Your answer will guide you toward the balance between generosity and self-worth, a balance that ensures your kindness remains a source of strength for yourself and for others. Number 5. Turning kindness into a source of inner strength. Kindness is one of the most profound gifts we can offer to the world. Yet, there are moments when this gift feels less like a virtue and more like a burden, leaving us hurt, empty, or disillusioned. Perhaps your kindness is misunderstood, overlooked, or even taken for granted. These experiences can test your resolve, but they should never deter you from choosing kindness. Instead, Stoic philosophy teaches us to ground our kindness in inner strength, a flame that remains unshaken no matter how fiercely the winds of ingratitude or disregard may blow. Marcus Aurelius offers timeless wisdom. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. His words remind us that the value of kindness lies not in how others perceive or react to it, but in how firmly we adhere to our own moral principles. Imagine a workplace scenario. You've tirelessly supported a co-worker, offering guidance and help at every step, only for them to take full credit for a shared success. The sting of betrayal is sharp, but Stoicism teaches that the worth of your kindness isn't measured by how it's received. It's defined by your unwavering commitment to what is right. This principle extends to family life as well. Picture a mother who diligently prepares meals, cleans up after her family, and ensures the household runs smoothly. At first, her efforts are met with gratitude, but over time, her actions become expected, unnoticed. If her kindness were tied to the expectation of appreciation, she might feel disheartened or even resentful. However, if she acts out of love and a deep belief in her role, her strength remains steadfast, unaffected by whether others acknowledge her efforts. Stoicism urges us to ask ourselves essential questions. Why am I being kind? Where does my kindness originate? These reflections are not always easy, but they are necessary. If your kindness is driven by a desire for approval or validation, it becomes fragile, easily broken by ingratitude. But when it comes from inner conviction and alignment with your core values, it becomes an unshakable force, impervious to the behavior of others. At its purest, kindness strikes a delicate balance between compassion and self-respect. It's the art of combining generosity with firm boundaries and empathy with reason. In healthy relationships, kindness is never one-sided. It's a mutual exchange that nurtures growth, understanding, and respect. When practiced this way, kindness transcends mere gestures, becoming a powerful force that strengthens connections and adds meaning to your life. Seneca beautifully reminds us, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Yet, for kindness to thrive, it must be practiced with wisdom and self-awareness. You cannot truly be kind to others if you are not kind to yourself. This requires reflection. Ask yourself, is my kindness constructive? Does it help both me and the other person grow? When the answer aligns with your principles, your kindness becomes purposeful and genuine. In a world that often equates strength with toughness, kindness becomes a quiet rebellion, a way to affirm your dignity without shouting or demanding. When you give kindness not out of fear of losing respect, but as an expression of your values, you'll earn respect, not from everyone, but from those who recognize its true worth. So, reflect on this. Does my kindness make me stronger? Does it align with the life I want to lead? If the answer is yes, you've transformed kindness into a source of inner strength, something untouched by the disrespect or ingratitude of others. Ultimately, kindness isn't something you give in search of recognition. It's a choice you make to affirm who you are. Stoic philosophy teaches that this is how we live with freedom, authenticity, and integrity. By embracing kindness with intention, you don't just brighten the world around you. You create a light that protects and empowers you throughout life's journey. Let your kindness shine. The world needs more of it. And when it's rooted in inner strength, it will never be diminished. If this video gave you a new perspective on kindness, how to protect it, empower it, and ensure it reflects your inner strength, take a moment to click the like button. Your support means the world to me and fuels my passion for creating more content that resonates with you. I'd love to hear your stories and reflections. Has kindness ever tested your patience? Or perhaps it brought unexpected joy? Share your experiences in the comments below. I believe we can all learn and grow from each other's insights. Don't forget to share this video with someone who might need to hear this message today. Sometimes, a simple reminder can shift perspectives more than we realize, perhaps even more than their morning coffee. And if today's discussion inspired you, hit the subscribe button and join this growing community of wisdom seekers. I promise there's much more to come. Stories, insights, and timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy to guide you in living a life of integrity and purpose. Finally, let's remember, kindness, when rooted in wisdom and strength, is a force that can light up the world. It starts with small, intentional acts, reflecting on your own kindness, sharing it thoughtfully, and protecting its value. Thank you for being here today. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring the art of living wisely and courageously. Until then, keep walking forward with kindness and the strength to stay true to your values.